welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BP TV studios. Thank you very much for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. We appreciate you. And you can watch us on Verizon 32 in Bethel and everywhere else. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner here and Smoking Jim Frazier. They've been discussing a little football and other stuff and bracketology, so we got a lot to talk about on the show, and we're going to get started with our first segment. It's called What's on Your Mind, and I'm about ready to do that. I want to thank everybody for all the likes on Facebook, 6,412. Wow. We're holding steady there. Appreciate it. And you can watch us on, as I was saying, Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area, and only Comcast 7 in Bethel Park, as you know that. Now, I do have some flyers that I wanted to show, and I don't know if Tessa can come out of that control room and grab a camera, but I'll hold up the first flyer. It's for Olive Oil's Pizzeria. They're the proud sponsor of this TV show, Pittsburgh Sportsline. And I think Tessa's here. It's live TV. You could go on that camera. Tessa, go. You want to stay on that? Okay.
She's in control.
All right, she's pulling that close. The phone number is 412-831-1900, Hillcrest Shopping Center, right in the middle of it. Don't miss it. Go there, get your pizza. They got great pizzas there. Then I have the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Here's Joey with pictures of DIPG. It's a brain cancer. He didn't make it to his 9th birthday after he was told that he had DIPG. It's a terrible brain cancer, and all the money donated go online to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Donate $1. They got events coming up, so check it out. The Historical Society, the Bethel Park Historical Society, this is another great cause. The Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. It's right where the trolley's at. You can't miss the trolley that's right outside on South Park Road. Check it out. They got a lot of great things there. I don't know if you can pull up inside. They're getting money for windows. Matter of fact, the Bethel Park Community Foundation donated money for windows, so we got good things happening there. And I have, let's see, I'm down to another one. I got 2 or 3 more things left, Tessa, if you can hang with us. We have money for groups in Bethel Park that are working with their kids from $100 to $500. Watch your step, Tessa, as you handle those cameras. And you can apply online at bpcf.org. Check it out. We got a meeting this Thursday, and we'll be talking about different scholarship grants that are available. You'll hear the word and check out the website for the BPCF. Check that out. And then we need volunteers. Like, we have Tessa here, we got Ethan here, and Dave Cable did me a favor, and he has me as Uncle Sam. I'm Uncle Al asking for volunteers to come on out. Check out the video where I asked, and Uncle Al's asking you to be a volunteer behind the camera like Tessa is right now. Look at that close-up that she got. Unbelievable. Call 412-831-3304. Tell Dave Cable, Al Levine told you want to volunteer and help us on our shows. I got one more thing. Cool Springs was a guest at our show. We're doing a lot of things in collaboration with them. They got different leagues. What a facility, 174,000 square feet, regulation FIFA soccer field. They got basketball courts, unbelievable. They got activities all the time going along. Go give them a call. Let's see, I don't know if I have that number there. I think it's like 412-831-5800. Give that a call and see if you get a hold of them.
And if not, just tell them Al called.
Yeah, just tell them Uncle Al told me to call, even though it doesn't apply to them. But that's all right. What's on my mind is bracketology. I'm not a part of it, but everybody's bracket's been busted, and they offer all these other contests you could have, ESPN, tournament things going on, and I'm not part of it. I've enjoyed some great basketball games. And like I was telling people yesterday, my dad and I would talk. Sometimes we'd watch the games together, and we talk about the referees. And he used to always tell me, Alan, if you don't notice the zebras, they're doing a great job. Well, the one call I talked about is the guy was up through the hoop, his hand was in the net.
Northwestern and Wisconsin.
And it was a pivotal game, and the coach got on the court, automatic technical foul, and they kept it the same way, that it was still a block shot, which you could clearly see the kid's hand jumped up through the basket, through the netting, with netting, and blocked the ball. So that was one of many calls that the referees, they had a rough year. They do it part-time. I give them credit for being out there, and you got to play around these mistakes, which the kids do that. But some of them are so obvious, and it was just terrible in numerous games. I could probably tell you about 10 or 12 of them that it just was upsetting.
Well,
So.
and I understand about you being upset about the referees, and this goes across all
Well, it
sports.
strikes my home, my family,
Sure,
with my
yeah,
dad.
I mean, your basketball roots, absolutely, I understand that. But the games are played by humans, and we are flawed. And even though the referees make bad calls, whether it's pro football, baseball, basketball, NCAA basketball, whatever it may be, that's all just part of the game.
Well, that's why I say they overcome it. I don't mind that. The players do and the coaches do.
Yeah.
But some of these are so egregious that it's like...
You wonder what were you looking at when that happened? Is that
They
that's the
obviously
question.
missed it. Yes. That's
the
the key thing. And you can't review some of them, and you got to watch when you're a coach. Northwestern coach come onto the court, it's an automatic technical foul. So
And the sad part about the Northwestern thing, 78 years they'd never been to the tournament, and they get to the tournament and they win their first game they ever play in the NCAA tournament. And looks like they could have gotten a little further, but fate smiled on the
Gonzaga.
wrong way.
Go Gonzaga.
Go Gonzaga.
That's it. Hey, and we're going to go to a commercial now, and then we're going to come back to Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. Don't change that dial. Chief, go get your dessert right now. All right, we're going to go to Smokin' Jim Frazier with Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, the Fiction and Facts with Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
What happened?
Really goes back, not real,
How many minutes?
real long. Last night, and I encourage parents all the time. I mean, I've been working with parents for the last 10 years, primarily in the black community. Single.
It's unusual that you brought the race card out early.
Single parent households, and
So
I
just
try
the mothers.
just the mothers, and I try to encourage anybody with daughters to get them involved in golf because
We were swimming last week. What happened to golf this week?
we swim in the more affluent neighborhoods like Monroeville, but in the inner city,
Affluent there?
in the inner city, if your daughter likes golf, and most kids like games, and golf is a game, and
You know
they
what? That's
and they
one of the
join.
most profound statements that you ever made on the show. That
Thank you.
Most of us couldn't figure that out.
Yeah,
But thank you.
and
Now go ahead.
and most girls eventually like boys, and boys play golf, so it's a win-win there.
I
But
don't
if
get that logic.
if they play golf up and through high school, they have a very good chance of getting a scholarship because each year the NCAA gives back 20,000 golf scholarships for women because there's not enough women playing golf, so they can pretty much write their ticket to any college in the country. If they play
Where
golf.
are you directing them to? What college?
Any college that they want to. And I always use myself as an example. I had 19 scholarship offers in football coming out of high school. None of the schools was a school that I wanted to go to. Where if they play golf, they have a pick of the school that they wanted to go to.
That's incredible.
I mean, I wasn't going to South Illinois State.
Well,
But,
of course, you were going to whoever paid you the most.
yeah, my dad. I mean, instead of me, I had to go. Yeah, with my dad, I had to pick one from one of them 19.
Yeah, he said not enough zeros. Go to the
Yeah, he
next.
wasn't coming out of his pocket. He wasn't coming out of his pocket because I wanted to walk on somewhere. But anywho, make a long story short, last night, two young men really touched my heart because I encourage parents, find out what the passion is for your kids and let them pursue it. We had two gentlemen, and not to step on your toes, Al, but we had two gentlemen on the show from that were yo-yo national champions, North American champions. They're going to compete for a world championship. They've been all over the country, all over the world, in Japan and other places. And the things that they could do with a yo-yo, I mean, they were kind of shy kids.
But I told them, go head up and do it.
When Al Levine, the talking machine, told them to get busy with that yo-yo, I mean, they were doing some things, two rope strings or whatever, and one yo-yo. I mean, it was amazing. It looked like magicians. And I was so proud of them.
And they didn't hit themselves.
They didn't hit themselves. I didn't know where they found the time as adults to practice those many hours and playing yo-yo. And one kid told me he'd go to KLU, so if he had my major, he got all the time in the world to practice yo-yo.
Well,
that may be a
19.
class.
He's 19.
That may be a class.
Which general was he studying?
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's on my mind. I was just amazed with the yo-yo champions. And now with the good karma, I'm sure they'll be world champions or national champions. Now they've been on Pittsburgh Sportsline with the good karma. Look for them.
One follows the other.
Yeah.
You get on Pittsburgh Sportsline, national recognition is soon to follow.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Smoking Jim, that was very good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
I don't know how you went from golf to yo-yos, but somehow you took that little step.
Let your kids pursue their passion.
But you
What about the coach we had with soccer from Cannon Mac? I thought you'd talk about Larry Shaw.
the only problem with the yo-yo,
He gave
Jim,
a great speech.
He did.
Yeah.
He sure
the only
did.
problem with the yo-yo, Jim, it's got its ups and downs.
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
they walked the
He
dog.
walked the dog. I love that.
Smoking Jim almost got up to walk the dog.
Rock the
Yeah.
cradle.
And the one kid's
Takes me back to my youth.
The one kid, Kai, I forget his last name, he invented a double dragon. It's two strings with a yo-yo.
That's amazing.
What he was doing with that was magical.
Yes.
And John was the other kid's name. Very good.
I remember in 6th and 7th grade, I had a fondness for playing with yo-yos, and we got pretty good then, but I'm sure nothing close to what these two did.
It doesn't compare. Wait till you
I am
see it.
absolutely certain of that.
Yeah, wait till you it's still a little bit of my on location, but we'll get to it. Now we're going to go to Chip's segment, if we could get to that. Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Hey, look at that.
I'm glad you got me again on there.
Okay.
Chip, here's your trivia.
Well, we'll make our trivia short and sweet because there's just so much sports to talk about this week. So much. But what did we have last weekend was we had the opening round of the NCAA tournament. And I did kind of go into the history of the tournament a couple of weeks ago and some other interesting facts regarding the NCAA tournament. Well, I have rounded up 16 very sweet facts to preview the upcoming Sweet 16.
I like that.
See? Oh, yeah, you like that.
And I got to interrupt you. Skip Atkins, who enjoys your trivia, told me to tell you guys that he turned 83 the other day.
God bless him.
And on Facebook it had a different number and whatever else, and he had said a different number, but he actually turned 83 years old. And shout out to Skip. Hope you feel better. He's been sick the last month or so. Hasn't come out to our shows, but he still supports our shows by watching us.
And Skip is such a great basketball fan. And I think for all basketball fans, the lack of major upsets to date in the tournament so far really have guaranteed that there was a lot of great matchups this weekend. One of the ones that I'm really looking forward to is Louisville and Kentucky.
Yeah.
Those two going at each other.
I thought UCLA in Kentucky. That's Louisville.
No, UCLA.
No, I think it's UCLA in Kentucky.
let me think.
Because those are my two favorite teams.
No, I believe that they're playing North Carolina.
Wow.
Okay,
Our brackets are
and I will get to that.
All right.
So, okay.
Let's get to it.
So, first off, the SEC is the first conference to go 7-0 or better, entering the Sweet 16 since the Big East did it in 2003. Wow. They went into the Sweet 16 8-0.
That's amazing.
That was back when the Big East was the basketball conference, and that was back in the days when Pitt used to run up at the top of the conference. No Big East teams are in the Sweet 16 for just the third time since the conference was formed. Other years were 1986 and 1993. Florida is the only team to have appeared in the last 4 Sweet 16s.
Really?
I didn't know that either. Okay, no, wait. This is where I was incorrect with the Gators haven't won a basketball title without beating UCLA in the tournament, which is their Sweet 16 matchup. So it's UCLA and Florida, and every year that Florida has won the national title, they've beaten UCLA.
Whoa. Wow.
So do we see history repeat itself this week? Stay tuned, folks.
Ask LeVar Ball and what Alonzo's going to do.
Kentucky and Louisville have met 5 times in the postseason. The Wildcats hold a 3-2 series lead, with the last win coming in the 2012 Final Four. Now we're going to have a little local flavor here. Somebody whose wife became a little bit more of an internet sensation than her husband during the tournament games last week. Dayton coach Archie Miller worked under his Arizona coaches and brother Sean Miller from 2009 to 2011. So he worked on his Arizona staff before he took the job at Dayton. And
is his wife good looking?
I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention to it. There was a buzz about, she was rooting enthusiastically for her team.
Oh, okay.
And it was got on the internet and went viral. So
Smoking Jim, she's white. I may have missed that while you were looking at the black models.
All I know is that there was
just a little sidebar, folks. Some reason he brings up race, which he's not a prejudicial guy. Look at that smile on his face.
And he's not a NASCAR fan either. And I think we should talk more about race on this show. I think there's a bias going on here. But
he's in the there is a bias, but he brings up reverse discrimination in the NFL with white cornerbacks.
I think he discriminates against people making left turns. So
yes.
You have to make 4 of them to complete a oval.
Yes.
Okay. Next thing. This Sweet 16 marks only the second time since the tournament expanded in 1985 that neither Duke nor Carolina made it out of the first weekend when both were in the tournament.
Wow.
Well, what that means is that Duke lost Sunday night, so North Carolina is carrying on in the tournament. This is the first time that both of them haven't made it past that into the Sweet 16.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting stuff.
I love it.
Now,
you don't watch that stuff, Smoking Jim. We don't know what you watch.
I always like to try to pick up the odd trivia that makes people go.
Give us some.
So, conference breakdown. The SEC has 3 teams in the Sweet 16. The Pac-12 has 3. The Big Ten has 3. The Big 12, 2, the ACC, 2, the MWC, which I'm a little bit, I'm not up to date on. They have 1. The Atlantic 10 has 1, and the ACC 1? No. Or the AAC has 2, and the ACC has 1. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the ACC, which is supposedly the best basketball conference in the country, had 9 teams in the tournament. And only one of them made it to the Sweet 16.
That's amazing.
Kentucky has the most NCAA tournament appearances of all the teams that are left with 53. Baylor has the least amount of NCAA tournament appearances out of the teams remaining with 8. San Diego State has 2 more with 10. And Dayton has a total of 15.
Wow.
Dayton's still in it.
Yes, they are.
I didn't know that.
You missed that, Smoking Jim.
Yeah,
what are you watching out there?
Brackets went tumbling last weekend.
Oh.
Brackets went tumbling.
That Dayton lost.
Championships won by teams remaining. UCLA has won 11 national titles. Kentucky has won 8. Louisville has won 3. UConn has won 3. Florida has won 2. Michigan State 2. Arizona 1. Michigan 1. Stanford 1. And Wisconsin 1. San Diego State, Iowa State, Virginia, and Tennessee are the only teams remaining to have never played in a title game. Okay. Jarnell Stokes and Julius of Tennessee and Julius Randle of Kentucky led the nation with 22 double-doubles.
Wow.
Pretty interesting statistics there. And Kentucky beat Louisville in their matchup during the regular season, 73-66. But the Cardinals open as a 5-point favorite over the Wildcats. And the last two, Dayton coach Archie Miller's wife is the sweetheart of the Sweet 16.
I'm going to watch that.
You're going to have to pay attention, Jim. And Fred Hoiberg's dance moves are the sweetest, and his daughter doesn't even care. And I guess he's one of the coaches of one of the teams that got a little excited in the locker room after their team won their matchup. But just a little bit to touch on, I do think that there's going to be quite a number of enjoyable games this weekend, and they're going to.
That's Thursday night or something.
They play Thursday night, I believe Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. They get it down to the Final Four. By the end of Sunday, we will know who our Final Four are for the following weekend, with the championship game a week from next Monday.
Nice.
So
Thanks,
that's my
Chip.
trivia for this week. Find something new I'll dig deep for some tournament trivia next week.
We'll look forward to it. Thanks again, and our fans like it, so we keep putting it out there. And we're going to go on my segment, On Location, right now. Oh, On Location. We moved quick. Ethan wasn't here to give us a countdown. Thanks anyhow. Thanks, Tessa, for using the software and the different features that we have. I know it's a chore in there, and we've got a couple more things coming up. But On Location, we were at the Fairway Grill, 1530 Hamilton Road. Smoking Jim and I had a great bunch of guests. We had Larry Shaw, who's the Secretary-Treasurer of the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. His team has won in Canon Mac the last couple years, WPIAL, PIAA, and they're just doing awesome things out there. And he explained his coaching style, how he even shows them how to make the moves, and he feels that teaches them a lot more than just telling them out of a book and how to operate. Very informative guy. He said he wants to come back, so we'll have him back again. Nice Bethel Park resident, Larry Shaw, had him on. We had John Walsh, one of the yo-yo champions, and Kai Ism, I think is his name, was the other one. They're 19 and 25 years old. John Walsh slipped up and said that he lives in Cole Center, and it's near Cal U. So
Yes.
he's going to take up general studies like Smoking Jim. And I told him that Smoking Jim has 15 degrees, including basket weaving. He said that basket weaving doesn't sound too bad.
I thought Jim had more degrees than a thermometer.
No, he's a little short. He has 15 degrees like a busted thermometer.
The mercury don't go up that high. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a busted thermometer. I just found it, but yeah. We've checked our sources. Nobody's seen them. They have no record of them. We don't even know what jersey. It was 22, and who knows what it is now, and what he wore there, and he got injured.
They would have 22 in the memory of the major highway that goes through God's country.
It was, but then I think he changed it up, because I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings, and they had some Gateway jerseys, but not a single 22. I'm a witness of that. But anyhow, we had great guests. We had Al from AHN, Cool Springs. He's a physical therapist, does a lot of great rehab there. One of our friends, Bill Chris Franciscus, had a knee replacement. He's one of the guys that works with him. So Bill showed up with some friends. A Dr. Valerie and a Dr. Munns were there. So we had a bunch of people stop out, check out when we're there the third Monday of each month, and check out our guests. Next place we'll be is the first week of April. We'll be at Hollywood Lanes, and Isaiah Wooding's going to be one of our guests to stop bullying. So we'll be talking about that. He's from Penn Hills, and we'll have a great show then. Check us out on location. And, of course, keep checking out our Facebook page. I post this stuff up in the shows and posted great photos from Frank Fabus, who's our Hall of Fame photographer. He did an excellent job. He sent me the photos last night before I went to bed. I said, I'm not posting them till tomorrow, but he did it for us. Now we're going to go on another break, and we're going to come back and talk Penguins. So don't change that dial. Go to the bathroom, get something else to eat, and stay on Comcast 7 only or Verizon 32 everywhere. We appreciate you. Penguins win Sunday 4-0. Sid the Kid had a hat trick. They tossed hats there on the ice. What a showing against the Florida Panthers. I watched the game. Great game. Tonight it's 0-0. So go Pens. I'm for the Pens. They're fighting it out with the Capitals and Columbus.
Yeah, and right now, if the Penguins get 1 point out of tonight's game, which would mean if they ended up in a regulation tie, they would lock up a playoff spot for this year. Now, where they're going to be seated in the playoffs is going to have a lot to do with what happens between the Penguins, the Capitals, and the Blue Jackets.
Last 10 games, yeah.
So there's a lot going on. But more importantly, we have seen Sidney Crosby reemerge as the absolute best player in hockey.
40 goals this year.
In the last 4 games before tonight, he had 6 goals in the last 4 games. He scored a hat trick.
Couple here.
Sunday night. And, right now, Sid Crosby is got the league lead for goals scored. He is in the running for the Art Ross Trophy, which is the scoring trophy.
Sure.
Which could lead to him getting the Hart Trophy, which is the league MVP trophy. Connor McDavid has given Sid a run for his money. Now, Connor McDavid, for those of you may not know who he is or think, well, I've heard that name before, he was the next great thing that was coming into the National Hockey League. People described his talents as being like Gretzky's, Lemieux's, and Sid Crosby's. And he's done very well for himself. Last year, his first year in the league, his season was cut short with a broken collarbone. And he's come back this year, and he's lighting it up for a team that not many people get to see much of because, not much television exposure in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So, Sid is in a battle tooth and nail with, and I think that whomever ends up winning the scoring title this year, I believe that they're going to end up being the league MVP. And I think look.
He has 80 points. He's tied, I think.
You look at what Sidney's accomplished this year. Right now, skating on his line, he's got a true rookie skating on one wing. And then Connor Sherry, who really hasn't completed a full season in the NHL, on his other wing. And Sid's just keeps on rolling along. And he's showing everybody why he's the best player in the league.
Well, like most players that are the best, they elevate the other guy's game, which makes a big difference.
And it seems to be.
Lemieux did it with Robbie Brown, scoring 50 goals.
He banked 49 of them off his forehead.
Yeah, and Stevens getting all those goals. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there.
Well, and the thing is that Sid's line mates this year have been interchangeable. Which just goes to show you how much of an impact that he's had this season on the Penguins' success and on the scoring race because, it's from day to day. Who's going to be skating on Sid's line?
And they were missing 7 starters for the game.
Or more. They've got more people hurt. They brought up another guy from the AHL. that they picked up from Toronto as a two-way defenseman who's going to play tonight. Once again, Derek Pouliot got sent back down to the minors after a horrendous performance on Sunday. Here's a kid that was drafted very high, very highly touted as being, a future star, and it just doesn't seem like the kid has the heart to want to play the game.
There's something missing.
And I'm thinking at this point, with as many chances as he's had playing on a team of this caliber, it may be time for him to have a change of scenery, and
it could be
because for whatever reason they're not pressing the right buttons here to get him to play it. I don't know how you could not go all out playing on a team with Evgeny Malkin, Sid Crosby, Marc-Andre Fleury,
Kessel,
Matt
Hornquist.
Murray, and just the list goes on and on. Chris Letang.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. There's going to be some battles going on, and I think the Penguins' biggest battle is not so much going to be in the standings. I think their biggest battle is going to get their players healthy to make it into the playoffs, because
They need them.
winning regular season games, you're playing one team one night, you don't see them again for 2-3 weeks, maybe you don't see them again at all. But when you get into a 7-game series, you're seeing this team every other night for 2 weeks, and they get to know your tendencies. And if we aren't at our absolute strongest, I think it could be a short playoff run if our team is not healthy getting into the playoffs.
And against Florida, Smoking Jim's favorite player, Jaromir Jagr, was there. Of course, they didn't score; they got shut out. But he was going up and down the ice and made a few
But the
great
Penguins
plays.
had a nice tribute to Jaromir. They had a nice video tribute to him at the game, which,
It's their 50th anniversary year, so it was.
Jaromir has burned a lot of his bridges here in Pittsburgh, considering all the great things that he did do. But
And the Penguins stabbed him in the back. But would you bench Murray for Fleury?
I wouldn't bench either of them. I would continue as you have been, because we're going to need the efforts of both of them. If they felt that the team could make a run deep into the playoffs with either or instead of both, I think they would have traded Marc-Andre Fleury, but they weren't going to get a return on him, and I think having the two of them gives them as good of a chance as they're going to get.
He played a great game the other day. So.
Fleury?
Yeah.
Fleury had his first shutout of the season Sunday night.
His 44th of his career, so he did well.
That's my favorite.
They were even shouting. You could hear Smoking Jim in the background. Fleury.
Yeah, that's my favorite player.
They were giving him Fleury calls. So
And you really can't say anything negative about Marc-Andre Fleury. The way he's handled himself through this whole situation, the way that he's the ultimate team player and everything. And he's never done anything for anybody to dislike him. It's unfortunate that in the salary cap era of the NHL, that he ultimately may end up becoming a casualty of it, and that's sad, because I'd love to see him be able to finish his career here in Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's going to be possible.
We'll find out, but it's enjoyable hockey. I want to see them repeat. I predicted a repeat, so I'm hoping the Penguins repeat.
No, you know what?
I'm predicting too.
That way Sydney could put to rest, about, Mario won back-to-back championships, Sid can win back-to-back and have one more than Mario, then maybe he might be able to move out of his basement.
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to. He's got to get.
I knew I'd get my friend Jim on that one. He knew he'd like that.
Hey, with the show starting out, I got some flyers out there, and Tess had to come in and run the camera. But I normally start with what's on your mind, and I'm going back to it. I'm going back in time now. With Smoking Jim Frazier, he's had a bunch of time to think about it, so whatever was on his mind, who knows what's going to come out now. But I'm going to say, let's hear some fiction and fact, we'll hear What's on Your Mind by Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
coming at you.
You got to see Levine. And I tell you what,
what do you got?
For all those people who said that the Pittsburgh Pirates don't spend money, they're spending money. They got nets up now. I like that. I can text on my phone and feel comfortable at the game, feeling protected by the Nets.
Well, for the 3 innings you see about once every 5 years, I don't think you have anything to worry about, Jim.
But what's on my mind is I want to drop some inside information on Darrelle Revis. Darrelle Revis would like to come and play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm still on the fence about that for the simple reason the Steelers don't play man-to-man defense. I went back and watched every game from the 2015 season that Darrelle Revis played, and he was voted to the All-Star game, Pro Bowl game, and deserved it. And he was playing man-to-man.
I heard he lost the step.
Well, in 2016, I went back and watched every game in 2016 as well, and they went to a zone, and he was lost. He had some injuries. So in 2014, when he played, when he won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots, in 2015 with the Jets, he was still a great cornerback. 2016 was it injuries? Was it the zone? Now the Pittsburgh Steelers hadn't played man-to-man.
Was it his desire?
Was it his desire? That's another thing. But I know that the pride of Aliquippa, playing in his hometown and playing here, if it was a desire thing, he would be at his absolute best. But even Darrelle Revis at his absolute best in the zone is just a marginal player. Man-to-man, the Steelers haven't used man-to-man defense since Ike Taylor left. So if they let him play man-to-man, I would be interested in Darrelle Revis for this reason. I call him the modern-day A.J. Burnett. The inside information here is the Jets are going to pay him in 2017 $6 million.
Yep.
Darrelle Revis is looking for $12 to $14 million a year. So if the Steelers add another $6 to $8 million to that, they can have Darrelle Revis for 1 year, thanks to the Jets kicking in the other $6 million for Revis. And like I said, that's similar to A.J. Burnett when we brought him here.
And I can see the correlation there because, Darrelle Revis has forgotten more about playing cornerback than most guys will ever learn. Mm-hmm. So to be able to school a young Artie Burns and teach him how to actually play the position and play it at a high level, that would make sense. The only having to pay him $6 to $7 million, and the fact that he's getting the $6 million from the Jets, that would be the only way that I would even consider, and I really wouldn't consider signing him for more than a year. Now I don't know if Darrelle would be interested in doing that, if he, because he seems to be a pretty shrewd negotiator, and he's always gotten maximum dollars wherever he's gone.
Well, I was able to get confirmation that he would take a 1 year.
What's your sources?
He would take a 1 year.
What's your sources?
When considering all things considered, if he can still cover man to man. Now, last year, he was definitely below the bar. Was that the scheme he was playing in? Was he just to the point where, hey, I'm getting paid, I've already won my championship, but if his heart's in it and he can play, that remains, because 1 year older, if people were saying he lost a step last year, this is another year later. There's younger, faster guys coming.
One thing I can say, Al Levine, the talking machine, about my inside sources, they're second to none. If you look in our sports group today, there's a headline in there. Smoking Jim did say this 2 weeks ago. I told some people privately in a text message, because I wanted them to
carry the word.
I wanted them to
spread the gossip,
carry the word, and get some credit for it. But they blew me off. I told them 2 weeks ago that the Penn Hills football coach, who's also the athletic director, would no longer be at Penn Hills, and it just came out today, 2 weeks later, that he's taking an AD job with Kiski area. So Penn Hill's let him quit rather than get fired.
Give Smoking Jim another point.
Yeah, so they had to put that up in the sports group, but they could have been heroes. They could have beat Mike White and all of them. I gave them the inside information. But lastly, Father of the Year. We talk about Father of the Year. Al Levine kind of brought the guy's name up a little bit. Has to go to LeVar Ball, UCLA's dad. I tell you what, I can't get enough of this guy. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, one, all his kids are going to go to UCLA. Number two, I kind of agree with him that he said he could beat one-on-one. He could beat Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan in a game.
You know what he
one-on-one.
averaged point-wise?
Well,
Like 1 point a game or something.
well, that's at Washington State, but a lot of people don't realize he played junior college basketball.
We're not talking junior college.
Well, he played junior college basketball, averaged 20 points and 13 rebounds. He left Washington State. Him and the coach didn't get along, and he played his senior year in Division II school, averaged 20 points, 13 rebounds. He still has his high school record for single season rebound at 318. Basketball wasn't a sport. Football was a sport. He's a great quarterback. After he left basketball, didn't get an NBA shot, he played on a couple practice squad teams in the NFL. But the guy's in real good shape. He works out his kids like crazy.
Well, I like because he's a great talker.
In the marketing, they got a hat out that's costs $100. You know, Baller, they got the brand.
How many are
out there.
buying it?
Huh?
Who's buying
He
this
just
stuff?
says he don't care if you ain't a baller. Don't. If you ain't a baller, you can't afford it. Don't buy it. You
And they
know,
aren't
so-
buying it.
But everybody is so interested now in watching UCLA because of this guy, and he's everywhere. He's on every TV station, and like we all talk about, me, you, and Chip have talked about over the years. The reason you never heard about this guy before, and he's been like this his whole life, is because now it's the media, the same media that's saying
What are
all
you
the
writing a
negative.
story
So
about?
what you're saying, nobody ever stuck a microphone in his face, so
Right.
now he finally got his money.
Well, the same media, but the media is a twin-edged sword. The same media
Double-edged.
that's saying double-edged sword. The same media that's saying all this negative stuff about him created him, and and everywhere he's at, the ratings go through the roof. Whether he's on the show, he was playing one-on-one basketball with Marcellus Wiley, beat the heck out of him.
You know,
He talks about his kids. Their videos is going through the roof now. Their products is going through the roof. But the media.
But he's starting to get in trouble where he's talking about coaches in high school and he's putting it on different people too. So he's wandering out there like you do, and that'll hurt the marketing part to this. Because some of them are going to go, why do we need you? I'll just talk to your kid.
Jim, you know, he is just
Father of the Year.
another social media flash in the pan.
He got 2 more kids that's going to be better than this kid, and this kid's better than Curry.
And how many hats is he going to sell after the Gators knock the Bruins out?
Who knows? And he's looking for that shoe deal.
I'm just saying, you know. Before you talk about how great you are, why don't you let somebody win something?
Hey, anytime you get Charles Barkley to say, I'll play him one-on-one, ain't nobody that only
Yeah,
scored 2
I'll
points
tell
a
you
game
what,
going to beat me.
You want to get Charles? You want to get Charles Barkley? To
I
beat
like
you?
Chuck.
Put a box of donuts on the rim.
I like Chuck's analysis during the games. It's nice having him on there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So he came a long way. Father of the Year, LeVar Ball. And that's on my mind.
Okay.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. All right, Chip, what's on your mind?
Well, 2 things, and I'll keep it a little short and sweet because
We got 12 minutes.
We probably have some Bucko talk that we want to get to after a bit.
They put up a net.
But speaking to Jim's point, and I have been very vocal about this point for a number of years, and you know, I believe that when you walk into a major league ballpark or a minor league ballpark or a little league ballpark, okay, whatever kind of ballpark that you get into, you're there to watch the game. So when I go to a ball game, my phone's in my back pocket. I'm watching the game, and especially if I sit in the seats that are in the danger zone, which is the seats from first base to home plate, behind home plate, home plate to third base, because if you read the fine print on your ticket, balls can fly into the crowd. Broken pieces of bat can fly into the crowd. So you're on the edge of your seat because, you're there for the excitement of the game and also to protect yourself from being injured. So because people are incapable of protecting themselves, and because Major League Baseball doesn't want to be held liable for people, there's a term I would prefer to use, but not on the air here.
Thanks, Chip.
That they have to do things like they're putting up extra netting. Now, I'm not going to really make any comment on it, whether I think it's good or bad at this point. April the 8th, when I go down for my first game of the season, I want to see what it does to the sight lines and see, does this take anything away from the game, and is it making the game a little safer for the people that don't want to pay attention to the game, which I don't understand. If I want to look at my phone, I can look at my phone at home. I don't have to pay $50 or $100 and deal with traffic and parking and everything else that goes with it. I mean, why do I need to look at my phone at PNC Park? I can look at it at home for free. But
but you take nice pictures from your seats.
No, but
we appreciate that.
But you know what? That's usually in between the inning breaks. But
well, I wanted to bring that up for that purpose, because you're unusual that the phone's basically away, not like smoking Jim Frazier.
So right now the jury's out as to whether or not I think it was a good idea or a bad idea. I do understand why Major League Baseball had to do something, because if Major League Baseball would have done nothing and some meathead got hit with a baseball or a bat, and then all of a sudden Major League Baseball would be liable. There'd be class action lawsuits, blah, blah, blah. So that's number one. Number two, and I talked about this several weeks ago, and I continue to mention it as the weeks go on, the World Baseball Classic has turned out to be quite wonderful.
Yes,
I've
sir.
watched a number of games. You had the Dominican Republic, who I thought was the odds-on favorite to win it all. Really stacked team. They had a bunch of wall bashers. And subsequently, they got knocked out of the tournament. They got knocked out of the tournament by the United States team. And thank you to Andrew McCutchen, who had a 2-run double in the late innings to put the United States up 6-3 against the Dominican to seal the victory. So tonight, the United States is playing Japan. Japan is 6-0 in this tournament. Japan's team has a .319 team batting average. They're averaging 8 runs a game. Now, the United States wins tonight. They will play the winner of the Puerto Rican team, who's playing the Netherlands earlier this evening. And the final will be tomorrow night. So we could see a United States. I'm picking the United States and Puerto Rico in the final. The United States has never made it to the final. The highest they've ever finished in the World Baseball Classic is 4th place.
Wow.
So it would be quite an accomplishment. So there's a couple of baseball games that are going to be worth watching in the next couple of days. So,
Smoking, Jim.
If you get a chance to, now, the one thing I do have a fault with the World Baseball Classic, and Major League Baseball really dropped the ball on this one. The only place that you can see any of these games is on the MLB network. And I think what they should have done was they should have scheduled the games in a fashion where they could get some national television exposure.
Good point.
I think it would have done great for the ratings. It would have done great for the sport of baseball internationally as well. Could you imagine all the different countries were rooting for their teams? So Major League Baseball kind of missed the mark on this one, but if you do get a chance, watch the games. It's some really good baseball.
Polanco did a great job, too.
Polanco did well. Marte did well. Francisco Cervelli did well for the Italian team. He played for Italy. And, you've got McCutchen and Josh Harrison on the American team. So there's been quite, I've seen some amazing play. Manny Machado, who's a third baseman for the Orioles. What a ball player. I've seen him make plays, seen runners thrown out at the plate, runners picked off first, tape measure home runs. Saw some great baseball. But if you get a chance, watch it. I think it's worth spending a few moments
And
on.
Adam Frazier's averaging .450 as a leadoff hitter in the Grapefruit League.
Yes, Jim, and you know what? And I think we might just segue into our Pirates
Yeah,
segment.
go ahead.
You know, because right now
Segue right into
the
it.
Pirates beat the Rays today 5-4, so they've now won 16 of 24 games
Pretty good.
in spring training so
Pretty
far.
good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. But guess what happens on April 3rd? Everybody's 0-0. Okay, so everything that they've done, the Pirates have some decisions to make. You know, who are the Pirates going to keep as a backup second baseman? Alan Hansen, who's somebody that was very highly rated in the Pirates minor league system. And as a matter of fact, in 2013 and 2014, he was rated, I believe, in the top 100 players in the minor leagues in the country. But he's had a little bit of an attitude problem. The Pirates are out of options with him. So pretty much what's going to happen is he's either going to make the roster this year or he's going to have to get designated for assignment. So he has had a very good spring. One of the things that he brings to the team is speed. As a utility player, which I think would be his role, is speed. Adam Frazier has been doing extremely well. There's the...
But can he play in the field?
Well,
That's
you know
one
what?
of the things that he was suspect last year, but his play in
getting
the
their
field.
chance.
He's improved.
There's
terrible.
There's a young man named Ozuna who is leading the team in batting average and home runs.
Who?
Ozuna. Yeah, he's hit 5
didn't
home
get
runs
that far.
already. He's hit 5 home runs this spring, and he's batting like 460 something. So
Wow.
he's ripping the cover off the ball, and the Clint Hurdle has some interesting decisions to make.
Thank you.
As to what's going on. Most importantly, who's going to be the 5 starting pitchers? Now, we know that Garrett Cole's going to be the number 1. Jamison Taillon has been a very strong number 2. Ivan Nova is a solid number 3. Now,
Glasnow had a good game.
Glasnow had a good game. Brault did well today. There's a number of guys that are vying for the position, and you know the 5 pitchers that we go into the season with, I doubt very highly if they're the pitchers that we're going to see as we move forward through the year. Usually, I think about 8 or 9 starting pitchers is what a team really needs to go into the season with. You know, you can't bring them all up.
Consult with Smoking Jim, because last year he was outspoken in how terrible the Pirate pitching was. We haven't got his opinion this year. He's still
the
observing.
reports that I've heard on Garrett Cole is that Garrett Cole has pitched very well in this spring. He's healthy. And as a matter of fact, in the one game where the Pirates played the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Championship against the best hitters in Major League Baseball, he wasn't pitching against minor leaguers. He shut them down and did a pretty nice job.
He didn't pitch in the World. Okay.
He did not pitch in the World Baseball Classic. The Dominican Republic's team played an exhibition game against the Pirates.
Okay.
And he performed very well in that game.
Okay.
So,
That should make you feel good.
you know, so there's still some questions to be answered, but I am extremely excited for this season. I think the Pirates are going to surprise a lot of people because nobody is expecting anything out of it.
I expect a winning season. I'll go on the record early. A winning season for the Buccos. They'll play better than last year.
I think the team in the National League Central that's going to fall off this year is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay, they've been good for a long time. They, you know, I see them falling off. I see the Cubs still being strong, but you know, can the Cubs avoid the injury bug? And we'll see how that works out this year. Because last year they didn't have anybody on their starting pitching staff on the disabled list. If their arms stay healthy, they could be a force to reckon with. But 162 games.
Well, I'm still worried
that's
a
a
little
long
bit about the
Give,
Cubbies.
give Man-Made some credit. We got to give Man-Made a shout out.
Yeah, before we end the show, we only got a minute left or less. We saw some great boxing at Mountaineer Casino and Racetrack. Smoking Jim and I were guests of Angelo Magnon, who made Men Productions, got us media passes. Can't go wrong with that. Had a great time. Ran into the Lumberjack, Bill Hutchison, Kendall Rudolph. What do we got?
Penguins 1-0.
Penguins 1-0. There we go.